Yup, how's it going? It is me, Junior Jam. Gonna be talking today about the gameplay trailer that was released recently for Vikala. Just going over all her normals, her specials, and that sort of thing that was all shown. And just sort of talking about the character and how she's looking. So, yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so first button up is her close M. So it's a multi-hit close M. It's got 7 frame startup, it hits 3 times. So familiar with Loane? It's just Loane. It is literally just Loane's close M, but like a frame slower. The range is a little bit better on it, but otherwise, yeah, it's just kind of the same thing. I'm thinking it's probably better, but for punishes, it's going to be worse. And then obviously don't know for sure if it'll combo off of her close L. But seems like a pretty decent multi-hits close M. Your close H. This button kind of looks like it sucks, I'll be real. It's a single hit. It's got, I couldn't tell exactly from the footage, but it seems to have between 9 to 11 frames of startup. It's either 9 frames or 11 frames, I'm pretty sure. So it's either pretty decently fast or it's on the slower end of close H's. It hits pretty low to the ground as well, so you're probably only going to ever be using it for like combos or punishes where it's applicable, or if you just get like a low air hit or something where you're able to combo. But it does not seem too great outside of that, just just being combo filler for damage or combo starter. Alright, so they didn't show her 5L, but they did show auto combo stuff. So her first follow for the auto combo, she just like does like a little pose, got like the stars. It's Vikala. She's fancy with it. She's fancy. And then we've got the low. They didn't show the overhead, but they did show the low. She like hops, and like her little bear trap comes and sweeps your legs. I mean, auto combo lows already aren't reactable, so I mean, this being a weird animation doesn't really make it more or less reactable. Like 12 frames, so same as the other auto combo lows, obviously. But yeah, just standard auto combo low. Gotta watch out, she doesn't get your legs. Right, her far L. Her far L actually seems pretty good. It's got good range for far L. I've maybe compared to Loane's far L. 6 frame startup, so God forbid she had like a 7 frame startup or 8 frame, that would be horrible, but yeah, she got the normal 6 frame startup. Does seem to be like a mid, so just like a good normal far L. Doesn't hit that high vertically, which I don't know that's really a thing in general with far Ls, but I feel like it hits like somewhere in the middle of like the super low hitting far Ls and then like the higher hitting ones. They're still mids, obviously. But yeah, seems pretty good from what I can tell from just the footage. Far M. She's got just a normal far M. It is a bit slow to come out. It's 9 frame startup. Generally across the cast you're going to see more like 7 or 8 frame startup. So 9 frame startup far M, but it's got good range and it does combo into her cannons, which I think is interesting. We'll talk more about cannons later, obviously, but it does combo into assumedly all versions of her cannon on just like a normal hit, so that's pretty good because it does seem like, we'll talk about it later, but it seems like cannons will be a pretty core part of her game plan. Yeah, it combos naturally into it. It's got good range, and yeah. Her far H looks gigantic. I saw this in the trailer, I was like, yo. And I think it's something probably most people are going to see in the trailer, and they're going to think the same thing, like, whoa, this is a crazy button. Yeah, 11 frame startup on it, so it's pretty also decently fast for the range it looks like it's going to have. She just does like a giant swing with her bear trap, and I mean, yeah, it looks like it hits pretty far. We'll have to see when the game or when she actually comes out, but seems pretty good. And it does block string into her bear trap fireball, the like bear trap that she shoots forwards. At least it looks like it block strings. It seems pretty gapless from what they showed from the footage, so could be useful for pushing the opponent away in a situation where you're able to get them with the far edge. So curious about the frame data on it, like the advanced frame data, but otherwise that's pretty much it with far H. That's all her far normals. So we got her 2H. They did not show the full range of it, so we don't know how bad or how good it is, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen like the full 2H thing, even if they made it whiff, even if they made, you know, like a deeper anti-air, but they only showed this first like starting hitbox, which is 11 frame startup. So I believe that's normal. I'm actually going to check really quick. This is the one move that I don't actually know startups for specifically. Yeah, 11 frame startup is normal. So yeah, hopefully it does not have a horrible hurtbox and hitbox, but they didn't really show. So we'll be finding out, I suppose. And it's obviously got like the good combos that you would expect from a 2H. So yeah. 2U, potentially a very good sweep. We'll have to see how it plays out. But it is 8 frame startup. It seemed like about 8 frame ish startup, maybe give or take a frame. Yeah, seems like 8 frames. She has enough time to set up a trap on the hard knockdown that it gives you, so that's obviously super good because traps, bear traps are going to be another main part of her play. So she's got enough time to set one up and still be at advantage to run something on you. Cool. 6XL, she's got the cheese pillow. she kind of hits you with just a normal 6XL though. 8 frame startup, pretty normal hitbox, I would say. It honestly looks like a similar hitbox to maybe like near 6XL, like her dash L. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, seems really just pretty standard dash L. Now her jump U, we're getting into the cool buttons. Is it RNG? It looks to be RNG. Obviously you don't know yet because they only used it a single time in the trailer, but it looks to be RNG. So theorizing that when she does her little thought bubble thing, that's probably RNG, I would assume. I'm also assuming this is JU. It could very well not be, but I don't know what else it would be because it doesn't seem like it'd be any of her specials. And it's obviously not any of her normals. But yeah, she throws the projectile that she summons in a downwards arc. So it's maybe similar range to Cagliostro's rock, if you're familiar with like her JU, like shoot, or her fire, I should say. Maybe like a little farther range on it. It's hard to tell exactly, but it looks like a pretty good angle. It cuts her air momentum entirely, and interestingly enough, they showed that she can act before the opponents if they stand block it, which means if they crouch block it, she's obviously going to be even more plus. And it wasn't like an instant jump, right? It was like mid jump height that she used it from. So seems like it's going to be pretty good as like either a harassment option, or you know, just like an extra projectile that she can throw or something like that, or just even if none of those work out, just a way for her to mix up her air like momentum, her air timing, so that she doesn't get anti-aired. She's got a pretty normal jump. I didn't list it anywhere in here, but she's got a pretty normal jump. So yeah, feeling a little similar to my man Krogunk from Pokken. If you're not aware, this is another RNG character, and his jump special was, you know, he summons RNG. Does like the little bubble above his head, throws down a random projectile. Sometimes it's super good, sometimes it's a rock, like a pebble, which is basically what they showed Vikala doing. So it was immediate first thought for me. But yeah, potential to be very good, but it's definitely something we're going to have to see more of. Okay, so her roll and her spot dodge, standard stuff. They do look very funny though. I think she probably has some of the best animations in the game in general, but also specifically for her roll and spot dodge. Her roll, she does like a twirl. She like ballerina twirls at you. It's pretty funny. And then yeah, Her spot dodge, she just hits a pose. And both of them, she has her eyes closed, like, entirely. She just stunted on you. It's insane. Yeah. And then her back throw, she she grabs you, and then the rats carry you, and then they chuck you. Seems just like again a normal back throw, nothing crazy, but it is another funny animation for this silly character. And then her raging strike and her raging chain. So she like explodes you with like the raging strike thing, and then she like gets scared by it. It's like the rats like hit you. And then yeah, her raging chain, she like does a little rainbow with her staff and hits you with it. Good animations. Very, very silly. Yeah. We're going into the specials now. So again, this is all gonna be speculation on what the inputs are for it. I'm assuming these are correct based on just like how other characters work, but who knows? I might be totally wrong about the inputs on these. I'm pretty sure I'm correct, but I don't know. So 236. So her fireballs are cannons. They're cannons. They're the main part of the character, it looks like. From what they've shown in the trailer, she has 4 different variations on the cannons. So she's got the bomb, which just seems like it does like a ton of damage. It's like a short time, but yeah, it just does like a bunch of damage. She's got like a beach ball. I honestly don't know what to call that. It seems like the worst one probably. It just kind of hits you. It's hard to tell because she used it like point blank, so it's like impossible to tell how good it is or what it's actually doing. She's got the spike ball, which I think it was a multi-hit. Actually, don't remember. I don't want to say anything on that. But spike ball seemed at least better than the beach ball. And then she got the stars, which the follow-up to it like pushes you, like it's like pretty delayed, right? So you have time to run up and combo off of it if you end up getting the stars on the cannon. So you've got the 4 different variations that are shown. There could be more, but we don't know. And the H cannon, I'm theorizing here, so this is completely just speculation. It's probably going to share a different pool of RNG than the other cannons, so the L and M cannons. So what that means is probably going to have more powerful cannon RNG like follow-ups when you're using the H version, but probably the L and M version is still going to be useful, just not as strong as the H cannon versions. And all the cannons are 18 frame startup, so that's another thing factoring into that. I'm pretty sure that the H cannons are going to just have better RNG to facilitate them having a cooldown. So next part of it is that she can choose to continue firing the cannon after it makes its first shot. So I think this is probably the next part of Vikala that's going to get to be explored. Is once you see the RNG that comes up, you can press, I'm assuming 5U or just U in general, to do another volley of shots. So for the bomb, the bombs will just hit like one time, but if you press it again, then they'll throw out even stronger bombs, and there'll be a gigantic explosion. If you do it for the star, it does like multiple volleys of stars, so you have tons of time to run up and do whatever sort of little combo or mix up or anything that you want to do. It seems like it pushes you pretty far when you do it, but that's besides the point. And then the spike ball, obviously you just get like an extra hit on spike ball. You might be able to get like some small combo off of it, but you don't get the same frame advantage as you do off of the other ones. And then they didn't show what the beach ball does when you're following it up. But yeah, you can see when it's going to fire again, because she does like a little spin and then hits its pose. And then there's a blue circle as well that pops up around both of the cannons to show that they are going to be firing at you again. So probably good to keep in mind when you're on defense versus Vikala, because I feel like the follow-ups are going to be pretty strong, especially if you try to hit into them. and then you just get like blown up by something. So, thing that did not get explained or explored at all, which I have no full clue what they're going to be used for, but the cannons do stick around after they fire for like a long time. like you could do like a whole combo. You could like block. They showed it in the trailer. You can block like an approach. You can do a full combo, and the cannons are still just sitting there. So, for what reason, I do not know. They didn't show any sort of like follow-ups from the cannons. I don't know if she'll be able to use the cannons while they're stationed there, or maybe like a faster shot or something. I don't know if that's just for some reason the signifier of the cooldown of the cannons. I don't know if it's part of the RNG aspect of it, or maybe she'll summon different things if the cannon's still on screen. I don't know. But yeah, they stick around for quite a while. I don't think they ever showed them disappearing in the trailer, so we'll have to see about that. And next up, her ultimate cannon. So, this is just a big cannon. It's gigantic. It fires a fast single hit shot, full screen. It is quite a fast projectile. It is single hit, so probably going to lose versus some other better ults fireballs. Like, I can't imagine it beats like Luane's fireball or like, you know, some other ones that are going to be multi-hit or is just strong. But it does launch on hit. At least on air hit, it launches. So most likely you're going to be able to get a combo off of it. I do wonder the combo ability mid-screen versus in the corner, because I feel like in the corner you get something for free. It's going to be like pretty solid. Pretty easily, solidly, you're going to be getting a combo if you hit it in the corner, but mid-screen is kind of hard to tell. They cut the clip before like the opponent flips out or anything, so it's hard to tell if it's just going to be a launch, like a just a normal launch, or if it'll be they like flip out at the top of it or something, and then you just have like a lot of frame advantage, but you're not able to really get a combo off of it. It's unclear, but seems like it's going to be pretty good. And it's not RNG. So obviously the rest of the cannons, they have RNG projectiles. This just always shoots out that projectile, which is good. That would suck if it was RNG. And yeah, it also doesn't affect the cannons at all that are already summoned. So, and it goes away right away. So it's another thing for, it's like, what are the cannons staying there for? We don't know. But yeah, this one goes right away, goes away right away after you use it. It just goes in a puff of smoke, and the other cannons still stay even after you use it. Right, so on to her 623s. Alright, so her anti-airs. She's got an anti-air projectile. She throws like a rat king. I guess that's what they call it, right? Where the rats like all link up. Though I guess these rats are linking up by their hands and not their tails. So it's like a reverse rat king? I don't know. But yeah, it looks very, very similar to Fairy's 2-2L and 2-2M. So if you've seen those before, she chucks GG up into the air, and then GG just kind of lands back down. It has a hurt hitbox, I should say, the whole way through. So looks like that's what this is. I doubt it like sets up anything at the end of it, but yeah, no real idea on like the frame data startup for it. Seems like a pretty normal startup, so like similar to Fairy's 2-2s or like even Matera's 623. I think it's Starry Sky. But yeah, it travels in an arc, so it's probably going to be useful for zoning. We'll have to see. And obviously we don't know if it actually hits the ground or not. Like if it gets close to the ground, if it disappears once it reaches its apex. But we'll have to see. Great, and then her 623H starts up lower to the ground, so the other 623s, she kind of starts it pretty decently high in the air and then sets it at an angle. Her H version sets it like right next to her, so, and it goes like straight outwards instead of like going up and then like curving down. It just goes like straight out from what it seems. Maybe it like tracks. That'd be crazy if it tracks. That's something I just now thought about. If that tracks, that'd be insane. I don't think it does, but hey, that could be something. But yeah, so you can combo off of it. The combos don't seem great. In the clip they showed like she got an ult skill off of like double like auto combo while she was airborne, while the opponent was airborne. Auto combo into ult skill, and the ult skill like just barely hit. So I doubt the combos mid screen are going to be great for her, but at least she has something. And in the corner, it's definitely going to be pretty solid. You'll be able to hit with basically anything you have. So probably just going to be combo filler. We don't know if it's like good on block or anything, so maybe it has a use for that. I doubt it's invuln or anything like that, so she doesn't have a meterless reversal, at least from what we've been shown. So, but it seems like a pretty good move for what it needs to do. I'm excited to see the applications for it. It's also multi-hit. The other 623s are single hit, but this one is a multi-hit, so it gives you more time to figure out what you want to do with it. And her 623U, she puts a rat on a rocket. She sends it up. Looks like a pretty normal ult DP, all things considered. It does start pretty low to the ground, so I don't think you'll be able to crouch it at all, or like low profile it. And the angle it goes at is weird too. It goes kind of, it goes forward for like a brief moment and then just goes like straight up. I don't know if the straight up is because they got like the hit early, so they got the full cinematic, or if it just always goes straight up. But if it goes straight up, it's gonna be like not great. I doubt it'll be bad, but it'll be an interesting angle surely, compared to a lot of the other ult DPs where it goes pretty diagonal. This one just kind of goes like straight into the sky, and then it explodes into fireworks. So that's cool. Yeah. Normal startup for ult DP and everything. So, and it also it looks like it knocks you away pretty far once it hits, like after the cinematic. So, probably enough time for her to set up traps and, you know, get her mid-range zoning going. Great. So what I'm assuming is her 2-on-4, which is probably the weirdest move that they showed, and also the least that they showed. They like did not show how it functions, which is interesting. I don't know what they're cooking with this one, but it looks like a fireball, but she like sends out a bear trap as like a fireball. She just sends it kind of horizontally. It could be a hit grab. So this is something I theorized. Don't know if it's the case because they only ever showed it on block, so it's hard to tell. But it's a single hit, no matter if it's like the EX version, like the H version, or just like a normal hit, or even ults. Even the ult version is only a single hit, right? So yeah, don't know what's going on with this. It pushes you back a pretty solid amount, like more than most fireballs would. It pushes you back maybe like twice the amount that a normal fireball would. So I think if you block it, it's gonna suck. And I don't know what the on-hit situation is gonna be like. It could be a hit grab, which I could see some crazy stuff where you like set up a trap and then you hit them with the hit grab and it like pops them into the trap. I don't know, that's getting into some crazy speculation, but it could be cool. It could be a very cool move, and we'll definitely have to see once the actual trailer comes out what comes of that. And the projectile itself comes out in 16 frames, and for the H version comes out, it hits on 14th frame. So it's pretty fast overall. Gonna be hard to deal with. It also hits pretty high. It's gonna be pretty easy to low profile it, most likely. Yeah, she's also hitting the pointer finger out at the world with the gigantic projectile that came out. It did remind me of Mr. Phoenix Wright, another RNG character, with his little objection thing that he sends out. So we'll have to see how impactful it is overall. And her 2-on-4U, it does cause a cinematic on hit. It had like a 22 frame to 23 frames startup. That's with the ultimate skill slowdown, so the actual frame data of it's probably gonna be a lot closer to like 16, 18 frames. Hard to say. But it causes like hard knockdown on like hit, and it's probably just gonna be her combo ender for when she needs to refund. So She just like does it raw, and then she gets her 25 meter back, and then she gets to set up her stuff for a little bit stronger of an ender. Alright, and finally, her 2-2 series, which is going to be her bear traps. Woo! This is definitely the second main selling point of this character. She toots her little horn, her little trumpet, and she summons bear trap. So the bear trap runs along the ground until it reaches its target location, where it sets itself up. So it primes itself. The 2-2M sets itself like about 3-4 screen away. So definitely farther than Cagliostro's 236M. Maybe closer to like where her air trap like is, like her air M trap. It's about that range. And I'm assuming that's 2-2M because I would assume 2-2L is going to be a closer setup for her. So, and then it'll activate when the opponent is on top of it. So the bear trap will jump up when the opponent's on top of it, and then it will hit the opponent on the 6th frame, which is, if this is correct, if I've seen the video properly, if this is correct, pretty much there's nothing you can do about it. So Cagliostro traps, obviously going to be the next thing you compare it to. They start in 15 frames once you cross them. So a lot of characters can just run over the traps, and there's nothing that Cagliostro can do about it besides obviously hit them into the trap. But if the opponent just chooses to run through it, the trap will be too slow to activate. This is not the case with bear trap though. It is going to hit you if you run into it, and you're going to take damage. I assume it's going to be a launch on hit, but they didn't show it on hit. They only showed it being blocked. So don't know what that situation is going to be like. And for T2M, it's like set itself up, so you know it laid down fully on the ground, ready to be used in like 39 to 40 frames, which is like the same frame data as Cagliostro's traps. So, seems crazy good, is what I'll say for right now. Your 2-2H, it has a hitbox on the startup, in where it jumps up at the opponent once it gets to their location. So once it's under them, it'll jump up. It's like a short arc, and it like opens itself, and then it closes, clamps down, and then it kind of just goes back down to the ground. It looked like it disappeared when it hit the opponent, so I don't know if maybe it would just disappear if it doesn't hit the opponent and it jumps. I don't know. But it starts moving in 11 frames, so probably startup's going to be somewhere around there. I would assume probably like 15, 16 frames on the startup of this. Potentially could be very good as either an anti-air, obviously mid-screen combo extenders if you're able to hit the late hitbox, because it's a very active move. It's active for far too long. Like the entirety of the time, at least it seems, the entirety of the time where it's up in the air and then it's coming back down is active. And if you get it on the later part, like the falling part, you get like a full, like you can run up and do whatever button you want, even mid-screen. It seems really good for if you're able to hit the specific spacing to get that sort of thing in a combo. So, very interested to see how that turns out. And we don't know if it like sets up a trap if it misses, or if it like has like a range where it like stops. I don't know. We'll have to see. Right, and then finally her SSBA Super Skybound Art. It hits super high. It's like low key. It's like Grand's SSBA, if you've seen that. Which maybe you haven't, because his SSBA does not get used because he has SBA. But it hits really high, and if you get hit by it in the air, I'm also assuming on the ground, but if you get hit by it in the air, it pushes you to a specific spot further out in front of it, where it'll hit you again, and it goes into the animation. So, yeah. Also puts rat ears on the person that gets hit, which is pretty funny. I'm curious to see how it's going to work with some characters, like how it's going to look, I should say, on some characters. It should be pretty funny. It's a pretty silly super. She does like a little idle routine, and then I guess she destroys you with love. I don't know. It's pretty funny though. But yeah, that is everything that they showed for Vikala. Now, for the stuff that they didn't show, they didn't show her 5U. Why not? I don't know. It could be a super complicated 5U. She could be some sort of meter character where she's got to set up stocks. I don't know. I don't know what sort of thing they're cooking for her 5U, but they certainly did not show it here, as far as I can tell. They didn't show the light bear trap, so you know, the one that supposedly would go less distance, and they also didn't show ultimate bear trap, which I don't know what that's gonna do. I'm gonna be so real. That could have so many different applications. It could like hit super anti-air. It could send the opponent to heaven. I don't know. It could be out for an eternity and be gigantic. It's probably going to be just a bigger bear trap, similar to Keg's ultimate trap. We'll have to see. They didn't show, as assuming, I don't actually know if they showed her or not, but it did not seem that they showed her 236M, so her medium cannon. Because when she did 236H, her H cannon, it spawns 2 cannons, which one is on the ground, which you always see in the trailer, but there's also one in the air. So I don't know if the M cannon spawns in the air and like shoots downwards, or if maybe it spawns further out in front of her, or maybe it has a longer startup or something like that. I don't know. They didn't show any sort of thing that would seem like that, so it's hard to tell for sure. They did not show her 5L, her 2L, or her 2M, so we don't know how fast her fastest buttons are. I'd assume with the rest of her frame data, she probably just has standard 5 frame, 6 frame, 7 frame dealio. Probably 8 frame 2M, I would assume, but it could be faster because she has a pretty fast 2U, so I'll have to see. But yeah, they did not show her fastest buttons, which is unfortunate. They did not show any of your air buttons besides JU, so they're not that important, but it'd be cool to see what the jump-in situations are looking like for her. They didn't show her dash normals, so besides dash L. So no dash M, no dash H. We don't know if she has like a low-hitting dash M. Don't know if she has some crazy dash H or something. And we're probably not going to find out for quite a while, I would assume, until she releases. So it is what it is. Didn't show her forward throw or her air throw, which is, you know, whatever. They're just saving those animations for later, I guess, because there's certainly not anything crazy going on with those, most likely. Also didn't show her Skybound art, so just her regular super. Probably does not matter that they didn't show it. I'd assume she just has like a standard one, not something crazy like Fairy does or anything like that. But yeah. And also, obviously, we don't know if she has an install or anything like that. That's not something they tend to show in trailers, so we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe she has something insane cooking up with her meter that she'd want to use meter on. But with that, that's about it for what was shown for Vikala. So, my thoughts on Miss Vikala as the Wayne player for Grand Blue, and obviously as a Grand Blue versus enthusiast. I think she looks super cool. I'll say it. I think she is going to probably be, because they did give her the difficulty rating of 3 stars, so it puts her about in the middle, maybe on the lower end of characters in terms of how easy to difficult they are. She's a little bit more on the difficult side. I do think her RNG follow-ups are going to be interesting to see, and I think she's going to have a lot of creativity in how you can apply her options. Because she's got bear traps that she can set, so you know, like actual traps. She's got the potential hit grab, so she's got shenanigans with that. Between like multi-hit, close M, and she's got the weird like cannons. She's got the RNG projectile in the air. We don't even know the extent of her RNG, you know, that sort of thing. I think there's a lot of room for creativity with this character, where she's going to have different routes pretty pretty sure she's gonna have mid-screen roots, which is nice. And I don't think the RNG for her will be a make or break sort of deal, but I think it'll probably be more something you have to think about than someone like Lil right? Because Lil, you know, he has 5U as his RNG. He just kind of uses it whenever he's got free time, and then maybe it helps him a lot, maybe it helps him a little bit. I think with Vikala, her cannons RNG, assuming they're RNG, it could totally be like a cycle thing, like a RNG cycle similar to like Platinum maybe. We'll have to see for that, but I think her RNG is going to be something you have to think a lot more about. You'll have to react to what you get, and you have to do the follow-up on it, and you just gotta get in there. You gotta be like, oh, I got the bomb, all right, let me follow up with the bomb follow-up, and then I'll go in and I'll like do some sick combo. Like a lot of her moves look like they launch pretty high. I'm wondering if she's able to use like Jump U as like a combo tool. I think that would be super sick. That's something you don't really get to see for Granblue characters, is like them getting to use jump buttons, especially not their Jump U. But it's something they recently added for like Lucilius. They gave him like usable like JU like mid combos and like being able to use it. Obviously Zoe's had that forever. But yeah, it's something they don't normally put in Granblue. So I'd be interested to see if she has any applications for it in combos. But overall, she seems like a mid-rangey sort of set play. I hesitate to say zoner, because zoner's like, ooh, the evil word, zoners. I think she is just set play though, it seems like. Or like at least just trying to harass you mid-range with her gigantic far H and or far M that can combo into her cannons, and her bear trap that pushes you a million miles away, the bear trap fireball that's probably not going to beat fireballs, stuff like that. Especially with her 623L series where she kind of chucks the rat up. She's got a lot of room for like keeping you away at certain distances where she's able to set up her cannons and, you know, maybe get pressure going off of that. As you can probably tell, I'm pretty excited for her to be coming out, and I think the trailer that they're going to have showing all of her, what her specials do, what her super does, what her 5U does, that'd be cool to see, which I'm sure they'll show. And obviously just being able to get my hands on playing the character when she actually comes out is going to be pretty fun. I haven't... It's been rough, right? I don't want to say it's been rough. It's definitely been interesting only playing Lil for like the majority of Rising, because I played vanilla Granblue a little bit, and I played Zoe and I played Cagliostro, right? So I have a decent perspective on how the game used to be. I have a decent perspective on how characters function. I watch like a lot of replays footage for every character in Rising, even the ones that I don't play, obviously, just so I can learn everything I can about the game. And I think Vikala has a lot of things that she will have to learn, and a lot of things that I don't think people will want to learn against her, which I think is going to be to her benefit, obviously. In a similar vein to Lil, where there's a lot of different setups he has, or just like different weird gimmicks that he can do, where if you're not prepared, it's not going to do like a ton of damage probably, but he's definitely going to hit you with some weird setup you've never seen before. And I think Vikala has a lot of that same potential, and I don't think most of the DLC characters really have. I think maybe Lucilius, and obviously 2B has some weird mix-ups, but most of the characters have been more neutral focused, and besides like Forsusia and Beatrix, they've been a lot more neutral focused, and I think Vikala is probably the gimmickiest one of them. She's playing more normal Granblue than like Lucilius or 2B, or even Forsusia to an extent, but I think of the normaler Granblue characters, she is very gimmick focused. And she's also just silly. I think probably next to Lorraine and Grimnir, she's got to be like the silliest character in the game. All of her animations are just her goofing around, and she looks like she's just having a good time with everything. So, but yeah, overall thoughts: extremely excited to play Miss Vikala. Extremely excited to play her in tournament. get back on the tournament grind, especially for Frosty Faustings coming up, and she's going to be legal for Frosty Faustings, as in she's not banned like Beatrix was for the last Frosties, which I was pretty sad about at the time. Or was it? I think it was Lucilius. I think no, Beatrix was banned for Combo Breaker, and then Lucilius was banned for Frosty Faustings. That's what it was. Thankfully, there won't be any banned character unless Sandalphon comes. Right before Frosties. That would be insanely funny. But yeah, I'm extremely excited to play Vikala. I hope other people are as excited as I am to play and learn this character. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got. So hope you enjoyed this. Probably make another video once the actual trailer comes out for her. But until then, I will see you later.